and from Nana to Rump. I mean, they have valuable experience that you can only get in game day situations. So uh, I'm going to give everyone an opportunity, and I know what their strengths and weaknesses are going in from a 2-month trial, or evaluation period. But we're going to try to, excel in all areas once we get on the football field. Yep.
How much have you gotten to know your guys so far?
Well, either they call, text, or come see me every day.
Really?
Every day I've been here. So the last 4 weeks I've seen, on average, probably face-to-face, each individual probably 20 times. And that's the bare minimum, probably 30. Just come in and have a conversation. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about academics. Let's talk about interviews. Let's talk about football, so on and so forth.
Is that similar to places you've been before, or a little more?
I think you've got to develop a relationship with these kids. I mean, there has to be a trust factor. There has to be a care factor in there, and if they trust you and they care about you, they'll do more for you. When it's time to ask a little bit more, they'll give you a little bit more.
How important is the spring for you, just to get to know them a little bit more, not only personally, but how they play, how they practice, all that stuff?
Well, it's ground zero. We're starting with a blank canvas, and we're going to teach these kids how to be the masters of this game. From getting into a huddle to just identifying routes, identifying formations, playing with phenomenal effort. I mean, we're going to go back to the bare minimum of old blue-collar football, and we're going to put 2 screws, on every person that's carrying the ball, where we're going to be a part of a tackling situation. So, I mean, we're going back to the grassroots of why football was developed, and Coach Patterson has done a tremendous job of keeping us on course, and it's a process, and it's not going to be built overnight, and I like to see improvement through spring, then I like to see improvement through the summer, then I like to see improvement through fall camp, and hopefully come game 1 our kids will be in a situation where they're putting a good product on the field.
You're coming into a defense that the numbers last year weren't very good, of course. I mean, what, in your experience, how can that change in a year? Can it just flip?
It can flip. I was in this situation 3 years ago. We had the worst defense at East Carolina in America. That next year we cut it in half. And all we did was focus in on getting off the field on 3rd down, tackling out in space and getting off blocks, and just raising the football IQ of our football players.
In that capacity, does your philosophy sort of match up with that of a lot of Big 12 coaches, where it's not necessarily the yardage, it's just getting off the field on 3rd down?
You've got to get off the field on 3rd down, and that equates into playing fewer plays. And, Coach Patterson has a formula that, time after time after time has been proven truthful. I mean, we want to get tackles for losses, we want to get them into negative plays on 1st and 10, get them into predictable situations. Those are things that every coach defensively are going to be doing this offseason and during the fall. Enjoy the process, is what I would tell those kids. Is it going to be a grind? Yes. There's going to be some unknowns? Yes. But the process will take care of it. Just trust in it.
Talked about breaking everything back down. There are times, I guess, to motivate a player, maybe with more negative coaching or maybe being more aggressive. Is this a group that maybe just needs confidence at this point as much as anything after the season they went through?
Well, it's like like the reporter just asked, how do you ask more of your players when you don't have a relationship with them? If you're in a situation where you've been meeting with them one-on-one personally for the last month and a half, you'll start to have a rapport with those kids. Therefore, you can show that you care about them and that that they're going to trust that you're going to do everything you possibly can to get them in the best situations, and that's part of the deal. I mean, this is not just a one-way street where we say you do. I truly believe in coaching these kids just like I would coach my own kids. And yes, you have tough love. And you try to balance that out, and that's always been my approach. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be the rah-rah negative, you get out if you're not producing. No, it's a process. I understand that there may be times where you might miss a tackle. out in space. But if you make 10 out in space, you're being productive. Don't put your head down. Let's move on to the next play.